About navicular bones in horses. I'm seeing less and less and less navicular in polo ponies, only because the quality of the navicular is not a big issue in thoroughbreds. It's a big issue in quarter horses. What we do see is a tremendous amount of heel pain in horses that really have nothing to do with navicular. Horses for years are called navicular based on what their navicular bone, when you x-ray them, that's a normal looking navicular bone. It's only about this big in real life, okay? Not that big, maybe a little smaller. On how many notches he have here, whether he has at the empire ligament attachment, whether he's got lollipops or he's got cysts. Certainly if you see a horse that has a navicular bone looks like that, you'd run away. Or we see some that have big old dorsal spurs on the top of the navicular bone. But what we're finding is a lot of horses that have great looking x-rays, but they're chronically lame. And that's a heel complex, heel pain complex. And we're finding out there's a lot of soft tissue in the foot besides bone, and a lot of permanent lamenesses are a result of the soft tissue being injured. And the only way we're finding this out now is with MRIs. I mean, x-rays just show bone. They don't show anything else. Ultrasound in the hoof is pretty hard because you got to go through a hoof capsule and try and look at these structures. MRI, you can see a lot. It's just the cost of value. They have some standing MRIs, which give you a pretty good picture now, but they have other MRIs that have the tube like you go in when you have it, and you have to anesthetize the horse and have his foot in a tube. Those things cost between $2,000 and $2,500 just to do the workup. So a lot of people say, yeah, is it really worth having an MRI done on a horse to tell me it's not his bone, it's the ligament that comes off here, or it's the empire ligament down here, or it's a collateral ligaments in his coffin joint? Yes, and for prognostic, for future, saying yes, but as far as therapy, not really. I mean, there are certain things you can inject, the coffin joints, the navicular bursts to make horses better, but that's really about it. We see a lot of injuries where I drew that picture of that horse's hoof, where I told you that deep flexor tendon comes underneath the coffin bone and attaches. We're seeing a lot of injuries right here in that deep flexor tendon where it goes over the back of the navicular bone, where it's got a tear in it. And although it sits right up against the navicular bone, it's not the navicular bone that's having the problem, it's the deep flexor tendon. So the MRI, what's happened is our diagnostic imaging of these things has become a lot better and changed. In club polo, the quarter horse is a lot more valuable because he's quiet, he's readily available, he's not very expensive, and so your number one, your navicular bone can be a bigger problem than the quarter horse. So you tend to have a little bit more there, but in top polo and middle polo, most everything's thoroughbred, a high grade of thoroughbred. We don't see it. We don't see it hardly very much at all either in the Criollo Argentine horse. Navicular is a man-made disease. It didn't happen in wild horses. We've created it with our breeding and selection for small feed, shoeing techniques, trimming techniques. It's a man-made disease, just like non-sweaters. Horse that had navicular bone problems, it generally got eaten by wolves, and its babies got eaten by wolves because it couldn't run, couldn't keep up with the herd, it died. In polo, I'm happy to say navicular is not that big an issue.